be getting geeked, I'm in thrall for every speaker. Updates making peace, roof raise, can you see it? Luck ain't even in it, this is just a bunch of heavy lifting. So look, it's a Wednesday running back, there's a W in the track. The Cadets spitting facts, got the Catholic culture on the map. There ain't no PvP, we're preaching PvP. If you want COC, you better show you mean it. Stay in culture, let's make some more. Cadets corner, so you call her. All the baddies is a lady, pull up, he's a lady. Killing you, me also know him as that. Shining with cash on the back end, I was gonna add up the change like a cat. Gotta say I'm glad I was in the Jupiverse. I can OG status and I'm still up on the path. Cooking over gas, started the expansion. Looking like a blast man, it's fun to be a cat. If you ain't one yet, you should stick around for that. When my name turned red, I felt the first passion. I think we'll get it moving on. Making do some music and the cats like it's a groove. Truly, cats looking like a little movie. Life getting changed, that's how he said he do it. We got wins here every week. I've been saying that it's heat. Every call I be getting geeked. I'm in thrall for every speaker. Updates making peace. Roof raise, can you see it? Luck ain't even in it, this is just a bunch of heavy lifting. So look, it's a Wednesday running back, there's a W in the track. The Cadets spitting facts, got the Catholic culture on the map. There ain't no PvP, we're preaching PvP. If you want COC, you better show me. Wins here every week, I've been saying that it's heat. Every call I be getting geeked, I'm in thrall for every speaker. Updates making peace, roof raise, can you see it? Luck ain't even in it, this is just a bunch of heavy lifting. So look, it's a Wednesday running back, there's a W in the track. The Cadets spitting facts, got the Catholic culture on the map. There ain't no PvP, we're preaching PvP. If you want COC, you better show you mean it. Stay in culture, let's make some more. Cadets corner, so you call her. All the baddies is a lady, pull up, he's a lady. Killing you, me also know him as that. Shining with cash on the back end, I was gonna add up the change like a cat. Gotta say I'm glad I was in the Jupiverse. I can OG status and I'm still up on the path. Cooking over gas, started the expansion. Looking like a blast man, it's fun to be a cat. If you ain't one yet, you should stick around for that. When my name turned red, I felt the first passion. I think we'll get it moving on. Making do some music and the cats like it's a groove. Truly, cats looking like a little movie. Life getting changed, that's how he said he do it. We got wins here every week, I've been saying that it's heat. Every call I be getting geeked, I'm in thrall for every speaker. Updates making peace, roof raise, can you see it? Luck ain't even in it, this is just a bunch of heavy lifting. So look, it's a Wednesday running back, there's a W in the track. The Cadets spitting facts, got the Catholic culture on the map. There ain't no PvP, we're preaching PvP. If you want COC, you better show me.
Well, hello. Why am I so small? Let me be nice and big. Yo, what's going on, everybody? How we doing? The hype song we need on a Wednesday. God, it gets me amped up every goddamn time. If I sound a little bit different, it's because I just ate 12 pieces of sushi in the 3 minutes that song was playing. That was my dinner right now. But you know that we're preaching PvP, VD, MD. Already know what's going on, Broda and Favor and D's and everybody else. Listen, folks, I have some very important news for you today. I never thought I would say this, but today is the day that I win the over-under on the time. We have specifically scoped the agenda of this call to be 1 hour long, and we will see how accurate that actually is. If you want to take the over on this, I wish there was some kind of like easy like live betting app that we could use for this. If you are a builder who has built something like this, let me know. We can maybe use this as a fun little thing for the next Planetary call. Love you as well, Jupe. And so we want to do... Sushi first, MDMA second, says Souvlaki Papi. Shout out to the Souvlakis. I lived on that in college. In any case, my diets aside, we're going to have a very fun one for you today. We got some news to go through. We have a brand new, well, I should say brand new and improved product that the homie YY, aka my Quant, is going to be here to take us through. We have just a long-standing member of the Jupiter community here for Cadets Corner, and I got a little bit of alpha on Lend to share. I will tell you this. I learned something about Jupiter Lend yesterday that I had not learned in the previous 2 or 3 months, and so that's kind of brought me back to do a little different kind of approach to it here. All right. I love you too, Punchy. Let me just be known. If you say that you love me in the chat, I'm going to tell you that I love you back. That's just how this is going to go. This one will be 1 hour and 5 minutes. Monique with no faith over here. But let's see. Sushi Dow, shout out to Sushi and everybody else. Jim, we can show all the comments. Just keep showing them all up on their screen. It's always nice to to see what everyone is saying it. Scarlett asks, where's Srijani the legend? Srijani is taking some well-deserved time off, by which I mean she's taking like an hour off. That's about as much time as she ever takes off. She does not go. Well, surely somebody has hijacked Guam. Anyway, I don't have time to respond to Guam's hate messages. Instead, I have to do something much more important, which is play the unofficial Cadet theme song. Let's go. That's right. It is the sorry, the chat making me laugh a little bit here today. We are here. We are back with another planetary call. My name is Kash. I am, in fact, the lending cat. I am taller than this, for the record. The intern doing me a little dirty on this one. You know who you are, intern. But at least it kind of looks like me this time, at least. I'll be your host for the next 58 minutes as we hit this call bang on the nose and prove Monique wrong. Here's what this call is all about, in case it's your first time here. Thank you for coming out. This is the 53rd time that we're doing this call, which is insane. Rectify, you are what I need every day. I'm glad to see you in the house, buddy. Brusky, I was eating some stuff. I'm up to like 15 pieces of sushi now for my dinner. In any case, the call is not about my dinner habits. In fact, what it is about is the people and the products that make the Jupiverse so great. And today is going to be a heavy product focus with an excellent cadet. Arguably, actually, here's a little spoiler. The best smile in all of the Jupiverse is our cadet corner today. Let's see if anyone can guess who that's going to be in the chat. If you already know, then don't say it. But who has the best smile in this entire goddamn community? Scarlett's not wrong. Yeah, Monique wins every time. I'm always wrong on it. So this week, the agenda is we got this week in the Jupiverse. We'll cover some of the news and updates that have come out over the last 7 days. It has been a busy 7 days. Then we're going to talk about a brand new product, well, which is really like an evolution of an existing product called Jupiter Plugin, but it bangs now. That's the truth. There's also been some updates on the Jupiter APIs. So this is a heavy call. The dev life is the good life. We got a lot of dev stuff in here. I'll talk a little bit about Jupiter Lend Private Beta, which, by the way, can I just say, well, I'll tell the story later on when I talk about Jupiter Lend, but I've been very surprised and delighted by the amount of usage that it's getting, quite honestly, along with all the feedback that we're getting. Thank you so much to everyone who's done that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And then Cadets Corner with the best smile. And it does seem as if a lot of folks in the chat have kind of guessed it. But there are some other good candidates in here. So too, of course, the Lady Killer. That's right. So let's... I got to stop looking at the chat when I'm talking here. That is the agenda for today. If that sounds good to you, drop a little JM in the chat. Let's get nice and warmed up. It's good to have everybody here on a Wednesday. It's 48 degrees here in Dubai, I think. So it's good to have folks with us for a cool down session. Yes, JM's all around. This week in the Jupiverse, here's what you... Oh, fuck. Shout out to my guy... Shout out to Yoda Pun, who actually made me a little theme song because I asked about it last time and then I forgot to put it in here. Yoda, love you, appreciate you. Sorry, but just imagine a nice little song here. Ba-ba-ba. Anyway, this week in the Jupiverse, here's what you might have missed. First and most obviously, Jupiter Lend Private Beta is now live. Now, two very important parts to this first one, that it is private. If you did not sign up for the waitlist initially, unfortunately, you're going to have to wait a little bit before you can use the product, which is a bummer for you because it's actually got some pretty good rates for a number of different borrow stuff. Second, it is a beta, and we mean that very specifically. Not too many assets. We're actually capping the amount of borrow that you can do, which is why you're not going to see it run to $1 billion this week or anything like that. There's no incentives on it right now. And the truth is, we need your feedback to make it better. Already, we've gotten so much great feedback from people on this call specifically. Like Slick and Will and OG and Scarlett and many others, JD, have done great stuff and helped us very much. It's only going to get better from here. So we're going to talk more about that in a little bit, but that one's been a fun one. I think we're at like 2 million in borrow and 3.5 million in market size on the borrow end. And then what is it? It's like a 1 point something mil on the earning side. Pretty great. Pretty cool. But all right. Second thing, this is hot off the presses. Ooh, you can feel the heat rising off this. Starting tomorrow, pre-stocks are going to be available on Jupiter. You'll be able to trade pre-IPO stocks. Here we're talking of companies like, OpenAI and SpaceX and Stripe and so on and so forth. The exact list, don't quote me on. Those might not be in the exact list, but those kinds of companies that have been around for a while that people want to have exposure to. I will say this is a problem that must be solved at some point, right? The public markets are fundamentally broken. What they were built to do is allow the public at large to participate in the upside and the growth and the capital formation process for the companies that would define the era. And instead, what we're seeing right now, because of how onerous it is to IPO, because of the costs involved, the time involved, it can cost you $10 to $20 million in multiple years just to get to the public markets. And then you have all sorts of other issues around it. What's really cool about what Prestocks is trying to do is to help kind of solve that problem and give the rest of the world some access to where these companies already are. OpenAI, I think, is trading at 500 billion, or they just raised it 500 billion. It is nonsensical to think that 10 years ago, a $500 billion company would be private. Just not a thing. And so what Prestocks is trying to solve is very valuable and very important problem, I think, honestly, for wealth creation for everyone across the world. So Prestocks will be fully integrated into Jupiter. It's going to be on the stocks tab, so you can see everything right there. There'll be a dedicated Prestock screener, so it's easy for you to find all of them. Better data on the token page and so on. Excited about this one. Liquidity over on Meteora. This is a little W in the chat. Isn't necessary for pre-stocks. This one's going to be fun. I will say, obviously, it's not financial advice. Trade these at your own risk. Do your own research on how the custody and so on is happening here so that you actually know what's going on. But I like this. This problem needs to be solved. And I love seeing people trying to do it. And I love it even more when they do it with Jupiter, baby. So on Jupiter and Jupe Mobile, you can actually experience these as well. What if I want to tokenize a small business? Says Emmanuel. That's going to be tougher. The secondary markets for private companies is very gated until now, says Goldman. And he's right. Let's see where this one goes. Excited, and shout out to the Prestocks team for working with us on this. This is okay. One last thing I'll say about this. I know I've been going on this for a little bit, but can you smell it? Can you smell the global unified market coming together? Like, what have we been talking about for more than a year and a half now? Well, before internet capital markets was a thing. This idea that everything that you could possibly trade, every asset you could possibly have would be together in one unified market. That is the idea. And Jupiter is at the center of that picture. And you can see it again right here as we're partnering with Prestocks to bring them on chain. All right. Other great things that are happening. My guy Guam is in the chat. He did say he hated me earlier, which I did not love. And in return, can I get a little Guam in the chat? Because I know he does not like it very much. But a huge milestone for Portfolio. First time ever, 1 million monthly active users. That's people going to it, checking it out, whether they're looking at their own wallets or others. This is a very nice one. Love you too, Guam. The guys, me and Guam and some of the other folks, we sat down, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago. And today, Portfolio is an incredible product. We got to work on the growth. Not enough people know. And I think at this point, a lot of people are starting to know. Not enough, though. We will not sleep until this number is 1 billion. So as always, it remains fuck a spreadsheet. Use Jupiter Portfolio instead. Big features coming. I think did we already, Guam, can you say what the next feature is? I think that we've talked about it. But I can't remember if we've said it or not. So I don't want to steal. I will never. You don't mess with Liam. He said, all right, the chat is on Guam's side here. It's good to know where the chat stands. On my side or on Guam's, and it looks like it's on Guam's. But fuck a spreadsheet. This is a pretty great thing to see. Portfolio is still dramatically underrated. After that, we have a new feature. I'm so sorry, folks. Give me 1/2. I'm not going to lie to you. I got a piece of sushi stuck in my tooth, and it's making it very difficult to talk. I could not get it out, so we're just going to pretend that didn't happen. Let's keep going then. Found extra money. If you found extra money because of Jupiter Portfolio, can you please drop a little W in the chat? I know that the intern has, so I'm sure the intern's going to pop in a little W here. Yep, there it is. And many other folks have as well. I personally have too. Let the people know. Get a toothpick. I don't have any toothpick. And yes, that is right. That is what happens. This is one of those times where I really wish I had a co-host so I could chip off stage and handle this, but we will have to keep going anyway. Anyway, on the product side, what else you might have missed? Portfolio wallet search is now here. So now in the main search bar on jupe.ag, you can search for any token, obviously, or you could search for any wallet. And if you click on it, it'll instantly allow you to go and see that wallet in Jupiter Portfolio. This is a pretty cool thing, right? I've talked about this before, that how I think the Jupiter Portfolio is the best wallet explorer that exists on Solana, or frankly, on any chain. And now that's built directly in here. So you see somebody trading, already from within Jupiter Pro, you can actually click into their wallet. But if you see somebody's wallet address, slam it in there, you'll find it right away, only on Jupiter. The goal, let you find everything that you might want to find in one place. W found 1.08 SOL in the Drift Insurance Fund just about 30 minutes ago. Wilson, people are finding money every minute with Jupiter Portfolio. Gotta love it. All right, let me just see if there's anything else. Yeah. On the branding side, want to put out a little announcement here. The Jupiter Send is now what we're calling it. So Universal Send, which is a feature that many of you have loved for a long time. This is now just going to be rebranded as Jupiter Send. So if you see us talk about it like that, just wanted to let the Planetary Call faithful know what was going on there. It remains the single best way to send crypto. I just lost a bet when I was playing mini golf on Friday or Saturday night. Paid the money with Jupiter Send. Easiest way to do it. Best way to send money all around. Give coins, split a bill, onboard a friend, anything else you want to do, whether they have a wallet or not. I think we actually have a few more things. I know there's a lot of things that have happened this week, Prado. You've missed quite a bit by coming in a little bit later. Broda says Jupiter Send sounds better. I agree. I think that's very nice. We have a big sign of traction here over on the Verify V4 stuff that we announced last week. This is very cool for 3 reasons, right? The first reason is it's better for Solana, for all the traders to know, or for all the tokens to be verified if they are non-imposter tokens. Remember, verification is not an endorsement. It's just showing you this is probably the canonical token that you want to trade. That's good for Solana because it means more liquidity, less fragmentation, less people getting rugged and scammed. Second, it's great for traders because you want to buy the token that you want to buy. That's the whole idea, that Jupiter abstracts all the complexity away of trading, gives it to you in the simplest possible way. And this is good for the Jupiverse, folks. People have been asking for a long time. It's one of the most highly requested features of Jupiter is, please, in some fashion, burn some Jupe. Make it deflationary in some fashion. Tie it into a product. Give the token some reason to exist within the Jupiter ecosystem. Folks, is this not what you get? Is this you ask and then you receive? So here, token verification V4, almost 600 tokens applied in the first week, which is crazy. Because remember, we did not actually have an application form for the previous few months since V3 went live. So some people maybe lost that habit. Now people are applying in droves. We verified 92 tokens, which I think is more tokens than we verified in the prior month or two, most likely. Morton can fact check me in the chat if I'm wrong on that. But it's pretty great. And 62,000 Jupe has already been burned. We're going to have a proper dashboard so people can track this in the very near future. To be honest, we've just been all in on making sure that the product experience works best. But that is Jupe getting burnt every day, day in and day out, just to make Solana a better place. This is that classic win-win-win situation. Massive stuff indeed. And hopefully people feel heard and listened to. Because you said, hey, we want people to use the Jupe token as some kind of social currency within the Jupiverse. And here's what you get. Now, is this going to burn 3 billion? Not in the short term. Right, those 3 billion burn is still going to remain the biggest burn, but it's a start. And hopefully, some of the token holders out there who've been asking for stuff like this, who've been saying, when utility, when can we use it, when changing the tokenomics, you're getting that now. So I see the chat is excited. I think we'll average at least 5,000 Jupe a day going forward. Inshallah, that number even goes up over time. Big shout out to Morton, Prince, Scarlett, and May for putting in work on this one. Speaking of shout outs, we got to shout out my guy. I think I just saw him in here. Wake is somewhere in this chat right now. Wake and Zach's crushing right now. Jupe and Juice has continued on with their community spaces. It's just been excellent, high quality content for sure. As Slick is saying, man, the runners I've caught from Organic Score and Smart Legs is insane. You can obviously still lose money, but having those Insights to Save Me a Ton. That's right. But yes, Wake and Sax, they've been doing great stuff, bringing the community together, uniting people. Satchel and Monique, of course, contributing as well. The latest space on belief, failure, and greed. Getting deeper into the topics here. This is not just go buy this token, whatever else. No, this is discussions around believing in tokens or shipping without fear, channeling greed in the right direction. This is like degen philosophy. You know what I mean? I think that's a very underappreciated space. There's a lot of academic philosophy, and there's a lot of degen nonsense. Not enough degen philosophy in between. But the studio gang is growing, as Sax is saying. It's growing and growing and growing. So you should tune in if you haven't already. Thousands of people do. Trending topics, fresh alpha, every Monday and Thursday at this time, right? So same time, wherever you are in both places. JM to Jupe Indonesia. Jupe and Juice, that's right. All right, that is that. I don't know why Shrek is in here, I'll be honest with you, but I think it's very funny. So Shrek do be sitting nice, huh? Oh, is that... This is a chair reference. I did not understand that. But yes, I now see that he is in fact sitting on a chair. Chair's got legs. That's just what I say. All right. Speaking of some of the community efforts that are out there, can we please get a W in the chat for Uplink, who have completed 1 year? And they put out this really thorough yearly report. Now, this is one of the main asks from the community and from the token holders to say we need more transparency on what these work groups are doing. Uplink has delivered in spades. Let's just go through some of these numbers because these are pretty fucking crazy to do in a single year. 50 million impressions across channels. 50 million. Insane. 700 YouTube videos. Even I'm surprised by that. With 1.5 million views on YouTube. Not an easy place to grow. That's a hard place to get views because you don't have the simple feed as much. 49,000 Twitter followers, another 35 million impressions on that. $150,000 in grants given out, and 15 million Twitter views via satellite creators. That is probably the line that I'm most excited about, right? That's where we've seen so many great people in this community kind of bubble up and start to get a name. If I go through the chat right now, I'm sure I'll see some of them, right? But obviously Muse, Linny, my guy Marino, the cadet who's coming on later, Loki, and many, many others have kind of gotten their start. It's starting to move up through the Uplink grants process. Has been really great to see. $70,000 in revenues, all of which was put back into grants and funding more grants for more people. By the way, 1,700 bounty entries, 12 events, 200 onboarded IRL versus Jupe Mobile. That number is probably the least impressive. The rest of these are very, very impressive. Big shout out to the Uplink group. Hopefully the gang is watching and can see the chat in here. I know I saw Yoda and Will and OG. Shout out to Pedro, Srijani, and everyone else who's been a part of that. Molu, my homie, the Molu, Clouds, the GOAT, etc. Mafia content rocks. That's a fact. Last two things that I want to talk about real quick. First one, I just want to give a special shout out to the support team, right? Vito, I know, is in the chat here. Denda, Knock, Flabber, Racuna, of course. Scarlett's been helping out there. I'm feeling so bad because I'm definitely forgetting somebody. Manjubi, Jesus, I almost forgot that. Along with everybody else, just been crushing it. More than 500 tickets a week. First response time in 17 minutes. That doesn't matter if you email at 3 a.m. or 3 p.m. You're going to get a response damn quick on average. 75% satisfaction score. I would love for this to be 100, obviously, but a lot of people are creating support tickets out of anger or something else like that. So this is a very high CSAT score to have, quite honestly, in this industry. So major shout out to both Uplink and to the support team. And finally, little shout out to our homies over at Drip.house. DMs are now live, so you can now more closely connect with any creators that you want to talk to. So shout out to all of them. Okay. Sorry, I know I'm in my nose a lot. It's because the sushi is stuck in my teeth and it's like messing up my thing. But thankfully, the next guest is going to give me some time to go clean out my teeth and take over the stage. Isn't that right? He's saying yes fervently. That's good to say. He's saying yes and yes. Wow, he wants to host the call. Anyway, please drop a little JM in the chat. He's been on here many times. Fan favorite, the superhero API man, YY himself. YY, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Kash?
Superhero.
How's the sushi?
Yes, let me give it to you for a second. JM's YY in the chat. That's what we love to see. I'm gonna go off screen for real quick while you talk about a brand new product. Take it away, brother.
Okay, so I have everything now. Okay, Yeah, so we're introducing Jupyter plugin, and basically what Jupyter plugin is if you're familiar with Jupyter and you know that apps out there have been using Jupyter on their own applications on their own websites as well, you'll be familiar with Jupyter Terminal. And what we've done is we've refreshed it, we've rebranded it, and now we have a whole new Jupyter plugin with all the juicy stuff. So you have all the ultra goodness. And I think the most important thing for developers is you don't need any RPCs at all. And
Can you
Jupyter
break down for
Terminal
a second how
covers
big of a deal that is? Like for a normal developer, how much time and money are they spending on RPCs?
too much. I mean, even for ourselves, like
Yeah, true.
comparing like years ago to today, it's like it's just going up, and it's I wouldn't say exponential, but we can compare to exponentially.
It's not too. I mean, we're spending
going
more than
amount.
6 figures a month on RPCs right now.
Yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
it's quite a bit, and even just the configuration of it is a bitch, right?
Yeah. So I think about like a life cycle of a product or project, a developer, indie developer itself. They want to build apps. They want to get started. And if they need to get started, then they require RPCs, then it will be like a blocker for them, right? There's actually no friction for them. But with Terminal, with Jupyter plugin, we basically cover RPC-less and end-to-end swap functionality. So think about like the swap form itself, the design of it, it's exactly the same as what you get from Jup.ag. The token searching, the swap itself, the routing, all of those things, everything is included in Jupyter plugin. And you can do all these things with like just a few lines of code. So if you want to check out how that works, all the different like plugins, all the different configurations, you can go to plugin.jup.ag to test it out yourself and just play around with all the different configurations that you can get out of it. And most importantly, after all that, they don't even have to spend money on RPCs, but they can earn more fees just through Jupyter plugin. So yeah, I think maybe Kash, you want to play a quick
Let's
video?
play the video. Let's play the video. Oh, little Jupiter noise at the end there. Love to see it. Shout out to the homies over at Space Kayak. Customized treaties. So sure, I mean, we spent, I don't know, 4 years and like literally tens of millions of dollars in research and development and sweat and, maybe whatever, 500,000 hours of man time to put this swap together. And now everyone else can use it, which is pretty incredible. Surely this must cost an arm and a leg.
I think one thing to note as well is, I think today's whole chunk would be like this main section of Planetary Call would be a bit more, towards the developers. But I think for all the people that are watching right now, think of it as, we would love to hear where would you want to see Jupyter plugin, apart from Jup.ag, what are the other most used apps that you've been using? Maybe Meteora. Meteora already has Jupyter plugin integrated. So think about all the other apps out there, like maybe an NFT platform, maybe some other tools that you're using. All those things that are on building on Solana should be using Jupyter plugin so that you can just go to the bottom right corner or somewhere in the page, swap, and then continue doing what you need to do. So I think this is super helpful, not just for Jupyter, for developers, but as well as for the entire ecosystem as well. Anywhere you go, basically bring Jupyter with you through Jupyter plugin.
I think so. I think there's two other things that I think, obviously, if you're a developer or if you're launching a meme coin, for example, and you have a website for it, you should use Jupyter plugin because you can actually set the defaults so that it's like your token, the first thing that shows up, make it dead simple for anyone to get involved. But it's not just, to me, it's not just like this is cool for developers. As why I said, if you can go and evangelize, this is like a clear place where anyone who's watching this call can contribute and help Jupyter grow and help get us more volumes, get the more GP accumulation in the Litterbox Trust, and so on. By asking, and if I don't even ask, demand it on any kind of DeFi website that you use. That is the way to go. There's no excuse for anyone to not use it. They can earn their own swap fees. You can do all sorts of stuff on top, but it's a trading experience that is huge. And from like an overall, if you're thinking about the growth of Jupyter, this is how we grow. I think underappreciated is the fact that Jupiter is not just a product, it is also a platform. A platform is defined as something that enables other businesses on top of it to earn even more revenues than the core layer it does itself, right? You're not a platform until everyone who uses you has made more money than you've made. And let me tell you, I'm very proud of the fact that our partners have earned more than $600 million. We've made some money, but definitely not $600 million, like substantially less. And so this is a great step forward and kind of ensuring and enshrining Jupiter as the key platform for all Solana DeFi activities. So product and platform. And I don't think enough people understand how important the platform piece is. What do you think, YY?
I 100% agree with you. And I think this flows directly like with the next few things that we are going to talk about. So maybe you can hit the next slide. There we go. So Ultra API has been out for a while now. And Ultra API has been great for everyone. There's a lot of feedback, have been improving a lot on Ultra API itself. One thing that we haven't captured is basically allowing more developers to utilize Ultra API at a much more maybe like headache-less. Basically, they can just use it without worrying too much. So you think about it as like RPC-less, things you don't have to configure. You don't have to configure slippage, all these things. And now we are releasing a very, very experimental feature, which is dynamic rate limits. So if you have been using Ultra API, go and check it out on Portal. If you have not checked out Ultra API, go and read the docs, because I think this is quite interesting. Not sure if other areas or other developer tools have been trying these dynamic rate limits before, but this is a bit interesting for us, is because you don't need RPC now, and you also don't need to pay extra for rate limits on Ultra API. So how this works is, as you generate more volume through Ultra API, all the executed swap volume, your API rate limits, your Ultra API rate limits scale with you. So we're basically helping you scale from almost zero to going somewhere in your developer journey, in your product journey. So I think this is super helpful on top of the RPC-less that Ultra already provides. So I think, Kash, what do you think? I think this is pretty interesting, pretty experimental. So yeah.
So we'll see if it works. That's YY code for like, hey, might break a little bit, but be prepared for it, I think. But yeah, the good news is if you have a problem, you can always just yell at YY. He is, in fact, the dev concierge. I think this is super cool. It makes a lot of sense from like an end user, an end builder perspective, right? Like you want to have these kind of services, which for a lot of companies like wallets, there's major like centralized exchanges that use the Ultra API. You want to just make sure that they have an easy way to scale up. You never want to be the bottleneck to their growth, right? This is again like the AWS kind of model. Was like the one reason that any startup could use AWS is you knew that no matter how big you got, how quickly you got, the kind of underlying infra was still going to work. And I do think that Ultra Mode in particular is a major growth factor for all of Jupiter. If you read the Q2 token holders report, you would have seen it's something like, was it 20 or 30% of all of our revenue? With dynamic rate limits, I think it becomes easier for more people to adopt it, which means more revenue, which means more volumes, which means more attention on Jupiter, which is good for everybody. So I think this is like a pretty essential way to get more certainty and more kind of trust in the product for other people who are integrating it.
Yeah, developer, go and try it out. If you have not, maybe if you want something simpler, Jupiter plugin, which is the previous thing that we just talked about.
What is the domain? It's plugin.jup.ag for that, right? Let's take a quick look over here.
Yeah.
What I liked about this, by the way, I know this is a small thing, I know, but I actually really liked that you can do stuff like this. So if you go to the widget, you can actually like move it around your screen, and now you see it's up in the upper left. And but like, I find this stuff really fun just to play around with. You can see what it looks like over here. You can do all the token search kind of stuff. The modal, you can just click and like, this is a very nice website. Well done, buddy. Well done. All right. So honestly, either just plugin alone is a massive upgrade. Do you have any sense of how many people use Terminal previously?
Not enough.
Not enough. But it's like it's on the order of like hundreds of integrations. Is that fair to say?
Might be lesser. I think might be lesser. But I think with the entire push with Ultra itself, you don't need RPCs. You don't need all these different configurations. You help eliminate that for the developers. There'll be more people integrating it. I hope so, because I do really see the benefits out of this. And I think one thing that Xiong keeps bringing up is, if you integrate Terminal in the past, you have to worry about like your RPC. Like, typical developers, they just go and grab, Helios free RPC, just grab it and then just plug it in and then just hope it works for a long time. But for Jupyter plugin, you just need to do it once. Like, you don't even need to find an RPC somewhere. Just need to go to Jupyter plugin, implement it just that one time, and it just continuously works for you, unless we do something that breaks it. So,
which we're going to try not to do. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this is super cool, especially when you pair it with these dynamic rate limits as well, right? You can see the Ultra experience kind of infusing all of the APIs that Jupyter offers, which in turn powers most of the trading experiences that you see across the ecosystem. But that's not all. Why came with a basket full of updates today? God damn. Should we go to the next one?
Yes, I have two more things to talk about. Two API
Two
releases.
more.
Yes.
Run it. All right, what's this API release?
So, like what you mentioned just now, Universal Send is now called Send. So now we have also Send API, which is in beta, in public right now. I think one thing that is really cool about Jupyter Mobile is that it has grown so much, and there's still so much more room to grow, not just for Jupyter Mobile, but the entire Jupyter ecosystem, and also outside of that as well. So I think the whole idea behind the Send API is not just to drive more traffic to Jupyter Mobile, but also to create more unique experiences for all those people that we are onboarding. Because now, if you think about it, all those people are not all those people that we are inviting, we are gifting, we are onboarding. They come to Jupyter Mobile, they join the Jupyter ecosystem, they can swap easily with Ultra's guestless support, guestless, everything. And they can do all those things on Jupyter itself. But think about it, if let's say the onboarded user they can just go outside just of Jupyter ecosystem itself and explore all the different apps that have brought them to the Jupyter ecosystem. So things of we have been hearing things like gifting pages, those sorts of things. I think there's still much more ideas that we have not come across, that we have not think about, that we can gamify the whole onboarding experience through the Send API itself. So I think this Send API and the next thing would be very, very cool to hear what people what the community thinks about how people can onboard better through different unique experiences.
I'll put one out there right now. There's something that we've been a lot of the regional meetups around the world have been asking for forever. Shout out to Duke the Great, who I think has been asking for this for maybe a full on 9 months. Of like, hey, how do we do a referral program? How do we do better tracking and so on? Now that the Send has an API, I wonder if it's easier to build out those kind of custom mini apps that allow you to onboard people, track it more effectively, tie it into whatever their email and your email newsletter or your email news list or whatever else it might be, without having to wait for the Jupyter team to build it into the main app. Would that kind of a use case be possible now? Why?
Yeah, I think the Send API itself, we are focusing on the on-chain component. Basically, you give us you don't give us the fund. You give the program the funds, and then the program will send it to the to the user for you, right? And anything else that is off-chain, you handle it. So things like generating the invite code, setting up, like what you mentioned, an email referral system, things like that. Like all those things can be done through the Send API. So we handle the on-chain and you handle the off-chain, and we bring two things together, and hopefully we create a much more unique onboarding experiences for all these new users.
This is coming, folks. I can smell some carrots in the air coming around here at some point in the near future. Send API. Okay, so let's just pause for a second to recap. We have plugin just launched, the easiest way to build trading into basically anything that you want to do on any website, which is a few lines of code, no RPCs, no costs, etc. The Ultra rate limits are now dynamic, which means you could scale faster, easier, more certainly. And there's a new API for Send, which is able to onboard people and create all sorts of new experiences around that. And I'm sure the community is going to go wild. And there's still one more? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Oh my God. Why? The devs are eating good. What is this now?
So now we have Studio API. I think this has been one of the hot topics across the past 1 to 2 months. The API is public now. Not all the features are there. The core components are there. I think the most hot, or two of the hottest, API or feature requests that we've been getting from developers is to create tokens on Studio itself, not just the dynamic bonding curves on Meteora. creating tokens on Studio itself, and as well as claiming fees. So these two are live right now. Go and check it out. Like I said, it's still in beta, so please be gentle, but try your best to like break it as well, so that we know what we can improve on. I think to talk more about Studio API is, you can go ahead and show the
People
box.
I was just pulling it up, so we could see it.
I think for Studio API, it is an interesting product that we've shipped so far, and like Send API itself, there's a lot of opportunities, not just for users, but the whole point of Studio is for creators, right? So we're thinking of how can we bring more to the creators out there. So Studio is the main platform that people can launch their tokens on, but think about it such that if people can create tokens not just on Studio but outside of Studio as well, but obviously it is still a Studio token at the end of the day, but different websites, different applications, think about like all those different social applications out there, they can use Studio API to launch tokens out there without being gated by Jupyter's API, Jupyter's UI, and basically bring that creator, on chain, bring the creator revenue, bring the creator, build a community for the creator. And at the end of the day, that belongs to Studio itself, and we're basically expanding out of just the Studio UI itself. So I'm gonna pause here. I rambled a bit, so
it's good, buddy. It's good. You got a lot of stuff to share. I got to say, the APIs are crushing. As Iman Crypto says, it's so very innovative. Indeed. I mean, the cool thing about API plays in general, and the cool thing about being a platform in general, is if we had very clear and obvious ideas of like what the right way to use this was, we'd probably just build it. Right. The whole point of the APIs is to help grow the pie, right? To enable other people's creativity and ideas to come to the fore. Whether you're building like for a hackathon as an exploratory project, whether you have like, a core component of the app that you're trying to make, it can be benefited from here. It's all very cool. Like, is there an app that instantly allows like any Patreon to launch a token and, you're going to go to Patreon creators and go sell it to them? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's something that you do within a Twitch chat. Maybe it's something else entirely. It's no bounds to it now, I think, is the really fun part. Someone will make one that allows the best comment on each Planetary call to be tokenized, and that gets traded for a week or whatever, right? Like, the point now is to enable you all to be creative. The idea is this is a paintbrush and a set of paints. Now go wild with it. And this is, again, how the ecosystem actually grows. So Jupe Studio, obviously incredible communities are already on there. And now hopefully we'll have even more very cool things happening here. Did I also see in the APIs that the claim fees feature is in the API as well? Yes, correct. That's pretty sick, because I know that right now you have to like manually log in, click, claim it, all that kind of stuff, right? Yeah, so if you want to claim fees programmatically, you can do that now. Hopefully you don't abuse Studio API and use it to create more wonderful things and unique experiences for users out there. So I think Rick sums it up really well here. Jupyter has one of the, or maybe the best stack and community out there. And, all these APIs out there is not just for, getting more users, getting more developers to ourselves, but it's actually expanding the entire ecosystem and leveraging our own community to bring more people in, to get more people using Jupyter, get more people using the blockchain itself. So I think it is very, very cool to see like all these unique use cases being built, and hopefully more of that comes out of like all these different APIs that developers can use. So I think with that said, we can't probably think of the ideas right now, but I'm sure that there is something out there that could be a banger building on top of these APIs itself. So I think so. I think so. People also just underestimate, indeed, what other communities doing calls like this? Slick is right. Ain't nobody except for Sanctum. Shout out to the Sanctum guys. I know that after they saw our stuff, they've been doing it as well, and we'd love to see that. I will say that these APIs are like, there are many businesses that all they do is create APIs, right? Like that's the whole thing. Instead, this is just like a part of what we're bringing to the ecosystem. This is the hardest thing about Jupyter, but it is the DeFi super app, right? And super app has got to be out there sprouting seeds across so it continue to grow. YY, this is quite a banger update. I thought it'd be like, we had talked about maybe 5 to 10 minutes. We ended up going for about 20, but every minute of it was well served. So just to recap this, if you are a developer, YY is your Jupyter hero. We now have Jupyter plugin, embed, ultra swap, anywhere on the web, just a few lines of code, no RPCs, nothing else to figure out. It just works out of the box. Amazing. Dynamic rate limits on Ultra Mode as well for the Ultra Mode API. Allows you to scale up only based on what you're actually using, so you get some more certainty and predictability in your costs, and you know it's always going to work. Send API, where you now can use the Send API to build new onboarding experiences or other kind of reward experiences as well. A lot of people use it for giveaways and things like that. And the Studio API, so you can now create tokens and claim fees via API and build all sorts of crazy stuff around there. Why? When do you sleep, brother?
After this call.
It's a good answer. It's a good answer. Why? Please, in the chat, drop a little W for why and the team just going mad on the API side. Crazy week of shipping over here. Thank you very much for coming out. I think, is my brother watching this right now? That's a separate thing. Why? Thank you so much for coming out. We will catch up with you very soon, my guy. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Kash.
Cheers, man. The W's, they are afloat. Sorry, I was so surprised to see my brother text me just now that it freaked me out a little bit. If you're watching this, I see you. And yes, there are 4,200 people watching this. And yes, I'm going to talk to you directly anyway. Anyway, all right. Well, my family dramas aside, let's talk. We got 2 sections left. I got about 16, 17 minutes, 18 minutes to get through 2 of these and to prove Monique wrong. Yes, boo, Monique. Yay, Kash on his time predictions. First thing I want to talk about is just the JupyterLand private beta, because it has caught fire a little bit, and we need to make sure that everyone's on the same page with what we're doing here. So just as a reminder, JupyterLand is the most advanced money market on Solana. That's just facts. It is really a private beta, right? This is only available for people on the wait list, and we are doing it small on purpose. I saw some comments be like, bro, where's Jupe? Why isn't Jupe on here? Or, like, oh, why there's no multiply vaults? All of these kind of comments be like, oh, this product sucks. It's a private beta, baby. This is just a very simple test. Every day, we're adding more assets and more vaults. And over time, we will actually increase those borrow caps as well. But we want to go slow in order to go fast here. So judge the product not by what it is today. I mean, you should use it. You should give us your feedback, but judge it by what it's going to be at the public launch. What you need to do right now, go try it out. Give us some feedback, feedback.jupe.ag. Massive shout out to everyone that's been doing that, by the way. I think that I saw like 20 or 30 different pieces of feedback already on there that have impacted the roadmap. That is awesome. But this private beta phase is all about getting feedback. Yes, JupyterLand is a money market. Feeling that it is. It's a market for money. That's true. Yeah, and I will also say shout out to everyone who's on the wait list. The people who did not sign up for the wait list have been bombarding our support team and elsewhere. Remember I said that not 100% customer satisfaction. Some of that is from those folks. But slow is smooth, but smooth is fast, says Scarlett. And he's absolutely right. So there's that key point that I wanted to make. I also wanted to make another key thing. You've heard me say on this call before, the JupyterLand is better for borrowers. And I realized I maybe haven't sold that as much as I should. So let me just give you 6 reasons right now while it's better. And here's the honest truth. I didn't actually even know about the first one here. One of the cool things that JupyterLand enables, and shout out to the Fluid Boys, by the way, who built this all, who built most of the underlying tech and are great partners on this. With JupyterLand, you can actually have multiple positions per vault. Here's what I mean by that. If you go to other money markets, which shall remain unnamed, what you'll see is that, okay, you can have one position, you deposit some SOL, you borrow some USDC against it, right? And you just have a single liquidation point, and those are the 2 assets that you get to use. Bingo, right? Actually, within JupyterLand, what you can do is create multiple positions. So you might do, SOL, borrow USDC at, let's say, 70% LTV with a smaller amount, then do another separate vault that is SOL USDC at 50% LTV. And then you might have another one that's like SOL USDC at 30% LTV that you're pretty sure is not going to get liquidated, right? And in this way, if you are a borrower, you can design exactly the kind of risk management that you want to have across multiple assets and across different vaults. Maybe you're like me and you want to borrow in order to go short something, right? Or you want to go borrow in order to trade, but you already have an existing borrow. Well, it's hard to keep track. Okay, how much should I borrow here? How much do I owe there? Now you can just create a separate one. You want to borrow some USDC to go short, a token that I will not name. Well, if you want to do that, you can create its own vault and just remember that this is the blank ticker shorting vault, right? It's a very cool thing that no one else has that I think if you're a real borrower, this is something that you're going to be interested in. Number two, something else no one else has, notifications in Jupiter Mobile. If you are near getting liquidated, you're going to get a little push notification on your phone. No one else does this, folks. We're the only ones where you can actually make sure and feel confident that you're always going to know if your liquidation point is approaching. Then we have universal top up. This is a crazy feature we talked about last week as well. Basically, you can actually send a link and anybody else can add to your position or repay your debt. This is incredibly useful if you, like me, have a bunch of goddamn wallets. I have different wallets, and if I want to move things across, if I need to, if I'm running low on one, I have to then like go up, send it across. Or actually, what I have to do is withdraw from the money market, then send it across to my new wallet, then go to the new money market, then deposit it. For what? Right? I'm just drawing a line between those wallets on chain. It's annoying. It's hassle. It's extra steps for no goddamn reason. Now with universal top up, you can just send the link to your vault and log in with any wallet and repay the debt. It's incredible. This is good tech. Hurts the brain. That's right. And then of course we have the things that we've talked a lot about. High LTVs, up to 95% when we go live on the public launch, 100x cheaper liquidations, 0.1% penalties on certain assets, and isolated risk per vault rather than per market. There has been a bunch of feedback and thought around, or commentary around, hey, there's other products on Solana where it's just like one big market, right? If you go to another money market, it might say like main market, JLP market, etc. And then you can kind of deposit any of the assets and borrow anything from that pool. And then you come to Jupiter Lend, it's a little bit different. It's just actually isolated between two assets. This is better for borrowers because it's better risk management. There's no chance of contagion. If something happens with a different vault, you're sitting safe at all times. And risk management obviously is the main thing that matters for these kinds of products. So insane tech, says 3Apple J. Feel bad for the Jupe competition, says Slick. I don't. To be honest with you, I just don't. People shouldn't choose to compete and steal, starve, and steal. I'm sure that they make us better. We're going to make them better as well, hopefully. But that's right. It's like an isolated purpose position, says Ferry. That is correct. So Jupiter Lend, better for borrowers. That's the message you should leave here with because of these 6 reasons. And there's probably some more that I can't even remember, honestly. Satchel asks, can people who are staking to ASR also earn on Lend and vote at the same time in the future? It is something that we're looking into. So this has been one of the major pieces of feedback. Hey, can we have staked Jupe as an asset to borrow against? There's 2 problems with it. The first one is that there's a 30-day cooldown period at a programmatic level. It's not like we have a choice that we can just, if you get liquidated, we can just pull it off. We can't do that. And so that creates some weirdness around it. The second thing is that it also creates a little bit of weirdness around ASR itself and any kind of rewards that we're doing. Because you could, in theory, have stake Jupe, then borrow USDC, and then hedge it by shorting Jupe or something like that, right? In which case, people can just be farming ASR directly without showing any of the alignment that we want people to have. So for those reasons, it seems hard in the short term. I think if we were to do it, it would probably only be for people with a certain amount of stake, like a relatively large amount of stake. Because then if you have enough stake, then we know you're not just farming, right? Then you have some more alignment, you have some directional exposure, and it'll probably have pretty low LTVs. That said, that's for stake Jupe, but we do also want to have regular Jupe in there, and that should come with the public launch in the near term. So your Jupe, you can borrow against it, get some margin, go crazy, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that answers your question, my guy, Satchel. Jupe is next level, says 1 Corinthians, and 1 Corinthians is never wrong, word of God. Public launch is coming later in August, inshallah, that these other audits get done. We have 1.5 audits done, basically. We have 2 more coming. We actually might do 6 in total. But all of that's going to come. And the last thing I just want to say is the incentives. Oh, gosh, the incentives. Big shout out to my boy, Ben Liu, to DMH, myself, Samyak, and many others have been working on this. 10 partners. I'll just tell you right now, it's millions. We're talking millions of dollars in the first few months in incentives. It will have the best rates. I will just tell you that. I mean, if it does, the incentives are going to be coming in hot and heavy, and it will have the best rates coming in. So that's going to be coming very soon. When Jupe desktop, it says Slick. Yeah, kind Chiron. Big shout out to myself. Yeah, I realized as I was saying that what I was doing. I'm tired too. It's been a long day. It's like when Jupe desktop, the desktop wallet is underway. V0 for internal testing is actually coming around this week, which is pretty cool. Hoping that's probably September timeframe, but we're not sure. It's not finalized yet. We had to get it tested, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, big shout out to Ben Liu, says Sinyi on our J for J arc. That's right. Looking forward to Jupe desktop. I will be using it when it's out. You and me both, brother. You and me both. All right. Speaking of I don't actually have a transition there. Speaking of something juicy, let me now bring on the final person for this call. Don't mention months. That's taboo. Yeah, apparently I'm not allowed to do that. Next up, we're now entering into Cadet Corner. And on this one, we have, it can only be described as the man with the best smile in the entire Jupiverse. You know him, you love him, you've seen him do all sorts of ridiculous shit in addition to the normal stuff that he also does on terms of content. Please drop a little JM in the chat for my guy, the only Will. The only Will.
Hey, what's up, Kash? How's everyone doing? And I just want to make clear, I'm the second best smile in Jupiter. You have a better smile than I do, and I have to admit that.
Bro, now this is a little bit of a Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man meme, but I think you're very much, look at the evenness of your teeth. My teeth are kind of like up and down. Yours are whiter. You got the necklace going on. You look cool. I look, I'm wearing fucking merch from 5 years ago.
Bro, this is the same shirt I have since 2015, probably.
All right, well, brothers in arms, in smiles and in shirts. Look at the chat just going wild. the loving it. The greatest irony, of course, you are not the only Will in the kind of Jupiverse. Shout out to our guy Will McFletcher. But you are the only Will that is doing the kind of content that you are doing. For anyone who does not know, tell them a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
Yes. So I'm Will, for those who have seen me on the timeline as the only Will, maybe. I create content for Jupiter. I'm part of Uplink's grantee program. And yeah, basically I started creating content on Solana specifically for Jupiter. And I became a grantee about 6-7 months ago, probably. And yeah, I've just been building in Web3, became full-time Web3 after probably 2 years of joining. Funny thing is, before I was an ETH maxi, like 2-3 years ago, probably. And the first person that gave me a warm welcome to Solana was actually Meow, because I was using Jupiter when I was actually trading Solana. And I remember that I got my first airdrop on Jupiter, and I posted about it. I got about $40,000 in my first airdrop. So I was just
damn.
I was completely out of my mind. So I posted it on Twitter, and then Meow quoted it, and he was like, "Hey, welcome to Solana. If anything we can do, you're more than welcome to do it, etc. If you have questions about the platform, etc." And it just became a full circle moment, right? Because after year and a half, I ended up being part of Uplink's creator program, and yeah, it just became something amazing for me.
Not bad, brother. I think you can afford a new shirt. You don't need to wear 10-year-old shirts with a 40K airdrop, I think.
Have you seen those memes of me buying stuff for myself, and it's like someone struggling to actually buy it, and then me losing $10,000 in crypto, and it's like, oh, well, just another day.
That's a fact. As Guam is pointing out, Will is also one of the top 5 money finders on Jupiter Portfolio. That is indeed something to be proud of. That is a fact. How much you found? How much on there? I remember.
Yes, I found 99,000 at that point. Obviously, with like Solana pumping and stuff, it went a little bit above that. But yeah, it was like $99,000, and it was basically because I forgot about a protocol that it should remain nameless, but it's on the tweet if you guys want to check it out. Which never did an airdrop. Like I thought they were gonna do an airdrop, and I just forgot about it. Like you said, I just have too many wallets, and I just forgot about it. And then when Jupiter Portfolio came around, it was just insane to me that it was like, did I just really forget about this money? and no, Jupiter Portfolio was one of the reasons that I literally found that. So yeah, no, it was just incredible and an incredible experience. And yeah, it gave me a nice steamy because I'm a DJ at heart. So I needed to have that money back for sure.
That's an amazing and incredible story. I think that people don't appreciate how easy it is to lose some shit. But so in addition to degenning, in addition to finding money all over Shade, you also make some banger content. Can you talk a little bit about the content journey? When did you start? How did you get going? What brought you into this world?
Yeah, for sure. So I always wanted to create content, right? When I was back in high school, I used to be one of those kids who always recorded on his phone. He was getting criticized because everyone said, "Hey, you're not an influencer. Why are you recording everything?" But I just always felt comfortable with the camera, and I always had this dream of becoming a YouTuber and all these things, yeah, right? But I just never had the courage to do it. And then when Jupiter came around, I started seeing a lot of people post content about Jupiter, and I saw how the community just was supporting every single creator on Jupiter. And that's why I have been pretty vocal about, hey, if you want to start creating content on X, on YouTube, or whatever social media, you should look to talk about Jupiter, because the community is just so strong and so supportive of everything that you do, that it's a great starting point to start growing your fan base, your following, your engagement, etc. Right? So yeah, I started making videos. Obviously, I had that video that I jumped off a plane for a NFT project. So yeah, I jumped off a plane, and that's when I caught the eye of OG from Uplink, and then we just had a chat. I was like, hey, I want to create content for Jupiter, and I had obviously to come out with a banger for me to kind of impress Jupiter, and that's when I did the trading upside down on a zip line.
That was my favorite. That's right.
And yeah, so I was like, okay, yeah, I like to do my content engaging, and I like to do fun stuff. Obviously, while it's safe, quote unquote. Yeah, no, and that's how I started basically. So yeah, there's the video, like you're scrolling there. So I was just trading on Jupiter Mobile, and yeah, after that, I just got hooked with how much things Jupiter is building. Like, a lot of people feel like they gotta talk about 20,000 protocols because there's nothing to talk about in the space. But believe me as a content creator for Jupiter, there's just a lot of things that Jupiter is putting out that my time is not enough to even create enough content for what you guys keep building. Like, it's just insane. Like the delivery of Jupiter just continues to progress, and it's just hard to catch up with the content. But yeah, no, definitely that's how I started. I basically started just doing crazy stuff, and then doing crazy stuff for Jupiter, and then I just fell in love with everything that Jupiter was doing, because at the end of the day, I was using Jupiter already, so it was just a surreal moment to start building on it. And like I said, full circle moment of, hey, I ditched Ethereum to come to Solana thanks to Jupiter and the fast swaps that it had. And then ended up working for them as well. So
I got to say, I think it's great. I think the cool thing about the Jupiter community is we have this kind of range of creators. Some who are like more technical and like kind of doing deep dives and stuff. And then some who are like kind of showing like the culture, the fun of it, making it like engaging for mass audiences and stuff. And that's something I've always really appreciated about your content is when I watch, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Jupiter is cool. I like this. It's a good vibe, dude. It's a very good vibe. And the content itself is a blast to watch. I will say, I'll just tell you right now, I've also stolen your content. I saw you posted Meow and I are cooking, so then I posted. I completely stole that from you.
Yeah, no, do you know where that meme comes from though? Right? Like
the kid, Quant Kid.
Yeah, he posted a picture, and I was like, yo, I gotta take advantage of it, because I actually took that picture with Meow at Catstumble, and I was like, I never posted it, and I always regret it because I thought it was too late. But hey, the moment presented itself, and it just blew up.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it became a meme coin and everything else. I actually remember when Meow took that photo with Quant Kid, he was telling me about it. He's like, oh, and I met Quant Kid. I was like, that fucking scammer kid? And he was like, yeah, and we took a picture, but I told him he's not allowed to use it, whatever. I was like, okay, that seems fine. But obviously, months later, here we are.
Yeah.
Anyway, gave birth to a great meme. Listen, I know we're running out of time here. Otherwise, I'm going to lose to Monique yet again. So I'll ask you the same question I ask everyone who comes on. What is in Cadets Quarter? You've become, a vital pillar of the community. What advice do you have to the people watching right now who might want to get more involved?
Yeah, so obviously, I think for anyone that wants to get more involved, is you just have to put it out there. There's a lot of people that they just want to, hey, give me something in exchange for me actually doing something for Jupiter. And I don't think that's the way to approach it. You got to be like, hey, I actually love Jupiter. This is everything that I'm doing for the Jupiverse. Come look at what I'm doing, right? And believe me, there's always people like you, always people like OG, like the other Will, always looking for content creators, for people that are actual pillars for the ecosystem. Because at the end of the day, us content creators, we do not grow without the support from the community, right? So if anyone wants to get started doing content, I'll say just post about Jupiter, post about what you like. You don't even have to have all these fancy edits like we do. At the end of the day, people just align with what Jupiter is building. So I think that the best advice I will give someone is just start the content. It don't matter if you get 10 likes, 5 likes, 6 likes. That's how every one of us has started. I remember when Clouds had like 300 followers in Twitter, and now he's one of the biggest follower count accounts in Jupiverse creators. So that will be my advice. Never be afraid to start, and the best place to do it is in Jupiter, because even if you don't speak perfect English, like I was born in Mexico, right? So my English might not be perfect, and we have this English thing that it doesn't matter how you speak English, we will always support it and we will never judge you. So English is not a barrier, the content is never going to be a barrier, and the support is never going to be a barrier. So Jupiter is a great place to start. And if you want to branch out to other things, do it. But you might end up being like me, where you just don't have enough time to cover anything else aside from Jupiter.
Inshallah, brother. Well, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you very much for the other Will. That is a sick burn for Wilmy Fletcher. We just talk about how white his teeth are as well. But shout out to the other Will, and shout out to the only Will. Thanks for everything you do for the community, and thanks for coming on, buddy.
No, I appreciate it. And again, I want to make it clear, second best smile on Jupiverse.
Flattery will get you everywhere, my friend. Thanks for coming on. Talk to you very soon.
Thank you for having me, and I'll see you in the next Planetary call.
Sounds good, brother. Peace. Oh, what a lovely guy. The only Will is. All right, folks. So that about does it. I think I'm literally within a minute or so. So I think we can agree that Monique is wrong. Can we all just agree? L Monique? F Monique? I don't actually know how it works. Anyway, thank you so much for joining a hell of a call today. We went through all of the news. Pre-stocks launching tomorrow. Jupiter Lend private beta already out. Jupiter Lend better for borrowers. Massive updates on the developer and API side. Go try out plugin right now. You can integrate it with just a few lines of code, and even a hackathon project to a multi-billion-dollar meme coin can use it and have used it. Send API, Studio API, dynamic rate limits, and the only Will showing the community how it is done. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next time. You don't have to go home, but the truth is, you cannot stay here. We'll see you.